We're here in Broughty Ferry today for a chat with former Dundee United owner and chairman Stephen Thompson, a man who went through so much in his time at his club, both professionally and personally. He's been away from the club for a number of years now. He's suffered health scares and also bankruptcy, but he's back and he wants back in Scottish football. It's going to be a fascinating interview in Sunsport. I'm delighted to say Stephen Thompson, the former Dundee United chairman, has agreed to join us today in what's a chat I've been looking forward to having for a number of weeks now. Stephen, great to see you.
Good to see you too.
Yeah,
we've been chatting a bit online, obviously.
We have. We've been in touch. I was thinking long and hard about where to start this conversation, Stephen. And I think probably the beginning is as good a place as any. It's been a long number of years ago that you get involved with Dundee United. Obviously, your late father took control of the club. I'm wondering how that changed the Thompson family. A long number of years ago now.
So you're talking September 2002, I think it was. And yeah, you're suddenly thrust into the public eye. I went on the board with my father at the time, and your life changed. We also had the retail business at the time as well. But my father kind of decamped up to Tannadice, and I kind of ran the business, and we had a very, very good business back then. But unfortunately, my father soon realised about a year or so in, didn't have the money to run the United, and the business had to get sold.
What did that do to the family then? Because as you say, Eddie Thompson, a hugely successful businessman in his own right, having the morning, noon and night grocery business, and he gets involved with United, and I think it was something he was trying to do for a long number of years, wasn't it? Get involved in football and get involved at United. He
was, and he kind of put himself in a position where he couldn't back down either. But he loved the club. There's no doubt about that. My fans still hold him high esteem, but it did change. You're suddenly thrust in the public eye, and we talk about the figure that was in the paper of 26.7 million. I think the family got like 9 million, which is a lot of money. Let's be honest, it's a lot of money. But when 6 million of it disappears in a football club, you're talking 20 odd years ago. It's money at the end of the day. Saved the club ultimately. Somebody had to save the club. Happens to a lot of clubs.
What was it like though for yourself though? As I say, you became a director of the club initially.
So I was quite lucky that way, because I kind of got to learn the business before I took over. Because it's like no other industry, and very different. So I had a kind of 6-year apprenticeship in many respects. I was also the one that would say things to my dad that nobody else would say. That's families for you, isn't it? And it was a strange time, because my father also found out he had cancer a year after we took the club on.
Right, okay.
Prostate cancer. Took radiotherapy, which had a 1 in 5 chance of failing, which he was a 1 in 5. So he was always on a limited time. So back then the cures weren't the same as they are now. And he ploughed a lot of money in.
What was that like to deal with though? Because as you say, he was so heavily invested in the club, both financially and emotionally. But then he had a health issue to deal with. That your father, he
wouldn't talk about it.
Seriously?
He barely talked to my mum, who you met earlier on. Mum and I talk about it a lot. Quite annoyed. My dad took the shortest time away from work, rather than thinking his health first. So that's something I think about a lot. Is health. Okay. Health's so important in life, obviously. And I'm still annoyed to this day actually, because he could have done something else.
You think he could have done something about it?
Oh, his health, yeah. You had options, but he wanted the shortest time away from work, because he was a workaholic, absolute workaholic. And that's what he chose. And unfortunately, the 1 in 5 chance of failing, that's what happened. So he had that in his mind, and he never talked about it to anybody. He really talked to my mum about it, and that's unusual. I think there's different schools, Old school don't really talk about things, they just get on with it. That's the way he was.
Was your dad different in the boardroom than he was in the family house?
No. Well, the only time I really ever saw him switch off was on a Sunday afternoon when he took my daughter down Broughty Ferry and go to the park, etc. It's the only time you really saw him switch off. That was every Sunday you'd see my daughter. And there was actually a story about him and wee Jim in the middle of Broughty Ferry before my dad bought the club. Okay. We both squared up to each other in the middle of the street out there. Yeah, it was quite fun. With my daughter, so that happened. Emotions run high in football, and you deal with emotions all the time. And if you're sitting at a game that's 8,000 or 50,000, everyone's emotional. Hard thing to deal with.
Yeah. You've been out of football for a wee while now, Stephen, and something when we come to in a minute. You're maybe looking at your options going forward, but you had so many ups and downs at United. Is it fair to say the club won the Scottish Cup, where you were chairman?
Yep.
2 other major cup finals, I think.
So
and also a relegation.
And a relegation, which was the lowest point in my time.
How do you reflect on your time at the club? After obviously your father sadly passed away, how do you reflect on your time? Because one of the things I think we spoke about earlier on was how the fans react to you now.
Yeah, it's hard. I feel, don't know, I did my best and I always put the club first. Always stood up for the club. I had many a battle with a certain club in the West Coast, and I always put the club first. So I look back, we're in 2005 cup final when my dad was there, 2008 cup final, 2010 we won the cup, 2014, 2015, a lot of cup finals.
Yeah.
And a lot, I think I counted once 9 cup semi-finals during my time. Got third in the league, played in Europe 3 times. But it all kind of started when pear-shaped in summer of 2015. We didn't sign the right players for that season and we got relegated. It was a horrendous night, worst night of my life. Absolutely horrendous. And it's football, unfortunately. I mean, nearly got back up the following year, playing Hamilton, home and away. Yeah. Simon Murray got sent off in the first game. The referee apologised to me after the game.
Why?
He got the decision wrong, and he said he should never have sent him off for the second booking. VAR may have changed it now differently, so that's one of the reasons why VAR was introduced.
Yeah.
But that's football, and so it wasn't great at the end. I'll be honest, it wasn't great. It was tough. It was really tough. Living in the city, it was hard, and I eventually decided to get out. I've done my 9.5 years as chairman. That's a long time.
I was going to say that though. Was that though a tough decision because of the family background, because of how much you were put into the club? Because I believe that when you became chairman, there was real debts there that had to be looked after, and that was your job primarily at the time, was to bring the debt down, which you did do. Well, and that's something maybe the fans maybe couldn't quite kind of understand. Maybe.
I think football fans only care about finances when things are going wrong. So we had about 7 million of debt. The bank nearly shut us twice.
Wow.
Demanding money back. It was back in 2008 when we had the crash. My father passed away around about the same time, and the whole world changed. And it was tough. There was really a lot of pressure put on us by the bank to sell players, bring money in. And like most clubs, we have operating losses. We had to plug that as well. So it was a tough gig, but I was up for it. And it's just that things sometimes don't always work out eventually in football. And it was tough being in the Championship, really tough. And by that point, the fans didn't want me there anymore. So it's hard to put up with that. That's just life,
But was it a tough decision for you to come to decide to sell up? Because of your history with the club, because of your family history with the club?
I'd had 17 years on the board. That's a long time as well.
Yeah.
A lot of success with transfers, bringing money in, debt, got rid of the debt. A lot of things happened during that time. Sat on the league board for 6 years as well. So, a lot happened then, that's for sure. It was a hard decision. Of course it's a hard decision. I mean, everyone thinks, the fans think I'm not a United fan. I was United through and through. I went home and away. I didn't show the same emotion as my father did. A different character. But I had highs and lows during that time. It's just, I look back, it's like 7 years or so now. And I still miss it. Miss football. I love the game. I love the game. I think my last game was actually down in England, would you believe? I've only been up to a few United games.
That surprised me, Stephen, because as you say, there's a stand named after your father at Tannadice.
And my teenage son's United daft, football daft.
But you don't feel, you don't go back, you don't go to games because of maybe the reaction you would get?
Yeah, it's a bit like that. It's just, you used to get sworn at walking down the street, everywhere you went. It went from people wanting a picture taken with you to people physically trying to hit you. And that's hard to deal with. Hey, it is what it is, you're dealing with people's emotions again. Particularly if you're in a pub and people have had a few beers.
Yeah.
So football's it is, I was thinking about that recently, but said the same emotions you're dealing with. And it's hard to keep everyone happy. And you've got people who have never run a business in their life telling you what to do.
Is it hard though when you say you were at the club for so long and you're now out of the club and you're out of Scottish football, you're out of football? Is it hard to watch things how they unfold now? Is that maybe one of the reasons why also you haven't gone back?
I think you need time to decompress out of it. A lot happened. You also live in a bubble. Football is a bubble. And when things are going well, you don't realise maybe you should be thinking about getting out of them when things are going well because you enjoy it and etc. So it's Yeah, I've had time to reflect a lot on it. And the boardroom site in Hampden was interesting. That was fun at times. That was a lot of fun.
Tell me about that, because you touched on it there. There was so much going on in Scottish football around that time. There was league reconstruction. There was clubs facing financial.
Rangers went into admin, and Hearts went into admin. We merged the leagues. That was an interesting day in itself. The chairman of the SPL, as it was at the time, Ralph, really came into his own that time. Yeah, really came. Some of the things that came out, we found out when doing the diligence that day. We didn't have an AGM until like midnight or something, or 2 a.m. We had our board meeting. We'd have an SPFL board meeting, the very first one, 3 a.m. 2 or 3 in the morning it was.
At Hampden?
Yeah, at Hampden. We had to have a meeting to make sure certain things were agreed for the company to operate. Wow. Mental. It was incredible. It was quite a day. It was very interesting being on the inside. And Ralph, I had a lot of time for Ralph. He was very, very good on the day. A lot of pressure had to go into the SFL to merge. Didn't want it to happen. Certain people were doing pretty well out of it at the top end that we discovered. Okay. I'm not going to maybe say too much now. I'm not naming names anyway, obviously. But we got it through. It was the right thing to do for Scottish football. There
was a perception at the time, though, that you kind of clashed with Ralph Topping, that was maybe one of the reasons why you resigned from the SPFL board.
So there was interesting. So I was a couple of years I was on the board, and something got leaked. They thought it was me. Later discovered it was certain other gentleman in the league. Okay. It wasn't me. So I got voted back onto the board.
Okay.
But it wasn't me. Because I had a relationship with the press, they thought it was me, and it wasn't me. That was proved. I haven't said who it was, but I think most people know who it was.
Okay. But you is it fair to say, though, you clash with people because of your personality at that time? It's maybe one of the things we touched on earlier on was you always spoke up for Dundee United. You were always looking at things from Dundee United's perspective.
I always got to put the club. I mean, remember the whole no scenario where we had a meeting with the fans not long before it, and they all insisted that they will not buy season tickets if we don't do something about Rangers. And I had no choice. I had to look after my own club. I need season tickets to survive. And what the fans want, you had to listen to the fans. So the difference for me was I was the first after Romanoff to come out and say it. And I think that's where the whole thing kind of went from there.
Would you do things differently looking back? Because
totally do things differently. Yeah. Lots of things. This is where you have your experience now.
With the Rangers situation, though?
I'm still stuck up for the club. Still stuck up for United, absolutely. You've got to. Maybe done things a little bit differently. Maybe not quite as outspoken. But that's life, you learn, Made it very difficult. I'm still wary about where I go in Glasgow. Love going to Glasgow, love going, etc. But I'm very careful where I go. You still get recognised, big football city, obviously.
Yeah.
So you make life difficult for yourself in the future. I was saying to you earlier on, somebody had a go at me at Christmas. He was told where to go, but that's just life.
With the Rangers situation, though, you kind of went out on a limb, and I suspect there was maybe other people, other kind of club chairmen who maybe agreed with you, but they weren't quite willing to kind of do the same. They were maybe kind of reluctant to do that. That's what I'm saying. Do you regret being as publicly outspoken against Rangers at that time?
We'd had a separate ongoing battle to do with an abandoned match as well, of course. So, excuse me, that didn't help.
That's when there was that game abandoned, and you charged the Rangers.
Charged didn't? No, I wasn't.
Everyone
got charged £10 to get in.
Yeah.
We had Costa. They took us to court. They lost the case. So there was things going on, apart from that, and that was just another thing that went on. There's always somebody. I think, when you get involved in the game as well, the press love you, and you get sucked in a little bit, and suddenly you're speaking. Sometimes I wouldn't be like that so much now. But it's the past. As I say, stuck up for Dundee United at the time. Always did. Always spoke the truth. People might not think that, but that's what I did.
Yeah. But as you say, you would maybe do things differently if you were to get back. Just in the kind of the hindsight, that experience that you've got now. Hindsight's a wonderful thing, right?
Well, it is. 17 years on the board. You have time to reflect on it. Then I was on the league board. A lot's happened, and you think you've got something to offer. I'm 59 now. Been a challenging last 12 months. Touched on that earlier on with you. But, you know, I feel that I've got to offer something, but people don't seem to want, people don't even talk to each other. If you were to sign a manager and he's been your manager, nobody speaks to each other. In fact, it's bizarre that if there's an incident in a game that's controversial, boards don't speak to each other the following week. It's nuts. It's totally different. That's the way football is.
Yeah.
Always has been. Again, some back to emotions.
Yeah. You're currently out of work. We'll come to it in a minute. You've been declared bankrupt because of nothing to do with football, but a business venture that collapsed a few months ago.
Mainly because of personal guarantees.
Yeah. But you're eager to get back in. You feel as though you've got experience in Scottish football, in the business side of it, or the kind of boardroom side of it. You've got something to offer.
A lot happened with transfer of players, sell on, the amount of money. United's had about $5.5 million for Andy Robertson all in, once it was all the sell-ons, etc. There's a lot of experience there, but you know, maybe it's not for the people don't want me. I don't know. As I said earlier, I had a health issue at the beginning of the year, which was a rude awakening.
Can you tell me about that?
That was quite scary, to be honest.
Tell me about that, because that in itself must have been something serious for you to deal with. You had a
TIA, mini
stroke at the turn of the year.
Across the road from here.
Just in January. That's something that's affected you badly, or hugely.
It does affect, of course it does. You reassess your whole life. Very scary thing to happen, and it's just, you know, you get asked afterward by doctors, how's your mental health? A lot of people suffer from depression after it. I'm fine now.
Did you though?
I wouldn't say I had depression. You get a low mood. Yeah, my two younger kids kept me going. That was horrible. And probably the stress of it happened around that time. I declared bankrupt 2 weeks beforehand. But, you know, a mini stroke, was lucky it wasn't a full stroke. So it happened across the road on my own. The feeling, like a ghost going through you, this 1 second, I thought that was it. And you thought you're dead. It's just horrible. Wouldn't wish it upon anybody, honestly.
So you're literally walking down the street feeling relatively
my right leg
well?
stopped working.
Wow.
Stopped working, fell in the car on my left, head spinning, this shoots through you. We wandered into the boots across the road, needed something, was just first place I went. And ended up blue lighted up to 9 miles, you know. So, yeah, scary, very scary. And you reassess your life a lot. You made you realise about your health, and we were talking earlier about what you eat and all this kind of thing, what matters in life. I don't stress about anything anymore. It's funny, just don't worry about anything at all anymore.
But you did previously?
Yeah, I'm a bit of a worrier. My mum is a bit of a worrier that runs in the family. Yeah, took things seriously, took the business seriously, took football seriously, and it can get you at times. Of course it does. You know, it does, and it took its toll eventually, and it's kind of like a reset in my life.
Yeah, because you're 59 now. You've got young kids as well. You've got a lot going on in your life to take into consideration.
Yeah, but your kids are everything in your life, obviously. The two older ones, I've got 3 grandkids as well. Another one due. My teenage son's very good at athletics.
Yeah.
That's taking a lot of time up. Scottish champion, etc., etc. And then I've got the little one as well. Happiest wee boy in the world, I think it is anyway. Makes me happy. So they keep you going and put you in a good place.
But as you said though, in the back of that bad turn, in the turn of the year, you reset. You kind of think about things. You think about where you are in your life. You think about the future. You
do. You reassess everything. You reassess relationships. You find out actually when that happens who your real friends are. We touched on that, and you don't. People think they've got a lot of friends. In reality, you don't have a lot of friends.
Yeah.
Real friends. You've got a lot of acquaintances.
Yeah.
And people that bring things round to the house because you couldn't drive for a month. And that's when you realise who your real friends are.
Yeah.
In life, and you don't have many. Nobody has a huge circle of friends. They think they do.
Yeah. What about the bankruptcy? Maybe just touch on this briefly, because I know it must be a difficult thing to talk about, but that happened before your health scare. 2
weeks beforehand.
So that goes hand in hand, presumably.
And the business went down 9 months before that, split up with my wife 2 weeks later. So yeah, it was an interesting 10 months, that's to say the least. And yeah, I'm a battler, but I've reassessed my life. I'd like to be involved in football again. I miss it. I still think I've got something to offer, even as a non-exec or something like that. I miss the game. Miss being involved. The highs and lows. I think it was John Lambie once said to my dad, "Now you need to stay neutral." He said because the highs are very high and the lows are very low. Yeah. And it's very hard to stay neutral. See when you lose cup finals and then you've got to shake somebody's hand, 2 minutes after the final whistle, and you just don't want to. You just want to go and disappear in the corner and cry, kind of thing.
Yeah.
That's tough.
Yeah. You mentioned the future and job offers maybe to come. Tell me the story about Rangers, because this in the back of what we're just talking about, and your relationship with Rangers and how outspoken you were against the club and what was to happen back in around 2012. There's been a surprising development, or was a surprising development.
I can't actually remember how it came around. I think it was when the Eastdales were on the board, I think. And somebody approached me and said, would you be interested, I was Chairman United, interested in the CEO position. And
at Rangers?
At Rangers. And I think it would have lasted even less than the last manager at Rangers. So it was never really going to happen, was it? But it's interesting that people thought that way at the end of the day, you know. Yeah, but I was around about that time as well. It just seems bizarre to you, I know that. I still think it's bizarre to me. So how it went around, but there you go. That's football.
So was it a very quick no, that can't happen? That's a non-starter.
I felt like I just felt like it wasn't serious enough. You know, I don't know why. It obviously was an interest. I don't know how it came. I can't even remember how it came around. But I was Chairman United. United's my club. Watched United since I was 4 years old. Went home and away in my teenage years with my dad, and obviously went to every game when I was here at United. That's my club. You know, it's always been my club. Not everyone's like that in football, but you know, people say, well, if that's his club, why does he want to get involved in football again? Because you've got something to offer. Yeah.
We touched on this at the start, Stephen. Do you think that offer will come? Because maybe, I don't know, the way things ended for you at United, people will remember that. Maybe the bankruptcy in itself might be something that's a cloud over your head potentially.
But you've got the other side of it.
Yeah.
That you've been through the good, bad and ugly. You've been through everything.
Yeah.
You've been through success, made money, lots of transfers, won cups, and you've also been through the crap. And in America, they actually respect people who've been through failure as well, because you've not just had success all the time. So you've got, you know, the pitfalls as well. So from that point of view, I feel like I know what went wrong in retail business and who you get involved, again, by who you get involved with at the end of the day. So I think I'm a far more rounded person in the business now than I've ever been. So I would make that the other way around. You've got more to offer.
Yeah. But, and you can see yourself working at a club that isn't Dundee United, because...
Well, I'm not going to be back in Dundee United then. It's still going to be my club. There's loads of people that work at clubs that support other teams. Look at up at Aberdeen, he's a Motherwell fan. Chief exec. Yeah. Alan. I know Alan quite well. But that's football. Yeah. It happens all the time.
What do you make of United now? Because you say you've not been back, which I find surprising. You maybe
can't get a ticket.
Talk to me about that, because I find that astonishing as well. You can't get a ticket for Tannadice.
I suppose I could have went up and bought one. I find that a bit weird that my family spent millions of pounds. I can't get a ticket for a game. You know, it's like, and yet there's lots of freebies get thrown around. So I don't mind paying to get in a game. It's just. So what do I think of the team? They've done, you know, highest support they've ever had, season tickets, highest turnover. So credit to the club and to the fans at the end of the day. Club's in a decent place from that point of view. The current owners put a lot of money in. Yeah, they've been on a roller coaster the last few years, as the fans have. Been in Championship as well, you know. So,
but as you touched on it, it would be hard, it'd be maybe awkward for you to walk, to maybe buy a ticket, pay in at the gate and go in, but should the club not be kind of reaching out to you? As I said earlier on, there's a stand named after your father, Eddie Thompson. You know, it seems a little bit...
The family put a lot into the club. It's not up to me to reach out to anybody, you know. I miss the game. The teenage, I feel sorry for my younger kids, because, you know, they like football, they'd like to go up, and we just don't. Somebody used to say, well, just go and buy a season ticket and go up then. Well, so it's kind of mixed emotion, but also when you've run a club and you've had a say on everything that's going on, quite hard. You know, you've been right in the middle, and now you're suddenly outside. And I love football, and I watch all United games on TV or whatever it might be, and still care deeply about the club, you know.
Yeah.
But
that's maybe something, again, you touched on at the start, that maybe some fans, not all fans, maybe don't understand, because you say if you went for a pint here, and we're in Broughty Ferry this afternoon, if you went for a pint here tonight, there might be someone that would give you a hard time, presumably.
It doesn't happen very often now. Not often. I get more often now. You got older generation come up and shake your hand and say thanks for everything the family did to the club. You get that more than you get the idiots, to be fair.
Yeah. Because
but I wouldn't want to be in a pub at 11 o'clock on a Saturday night, put it that way.
No, because you say your family puts, even the time, but the money that your dad put in.
I reckon we're about 6 million all in, down, including what we Jim got. A lot of money.
That is a lot of money.
A lot of money. Wouldn't mind a wee bit of that just now.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. But I mean, as I say, your father sadly no longer with us. I remember speaking to your dad back in the day. He was a big character.
Hard back to follow.
That's what I was going to say.
I was chatting to somebody on Saturday night who got a good business. He got retail business. He was with his sons in the business, and I was chatting away to him and said, I know what it's like working for your dad. It's a hard dynamic that nobody really understands.
Yeah.
But yeah, it is what it is.
But you did things differently from your dad?
I had to. I didn't have the money behind. We didn't have the money then.
Yeah.
So I had to do things different. We had the bank breathing down my neck, which we didn't have before. So I had to do things differently, and you've got to become your own person as well.
Yeah. And
it was tough. It's suddenly thrust into the limelight. You're in, and you're still known. You know, you get stopped. Bizarrely, I got stopped in a Starbucks in New York once. It wasn't even near Times Square anyway. It was bizarre. You stopped in Sydney once. That's football.
By United fans?
Yeah. You could be chief exec at Tesco, massive company, and go anywhere in the world. No one knows who you are. But if you have a football club, people know exactly who you are.
Yeah.
Quite strange. Yeah. It's really strange.
Yeah. What about your son? You touched on his young Ben, 16. Athletics got a real bright future, it looks like. Scottish champion. Is it 200 metres and other events?
100 and 200, under 17 champion.
Does he get his pace from you?
I was actually Dundee champion, would you believe? Yeah, I couldn't run for a bus now, but that's another thing.
Fair enough.
Yeah, it's exciting. It's taking a lot of time. He was in the Scottish champion, in the British Nationals, got the final 100. You're very hard. You go down to England, really competitive. Yeah, don't talk about him much in public. Takes a lot of time up the athletics. It's a time-consuming sport. I'm now involved with athletics more than I was, obviously, before.
Yeah.
I look at the facilities we've got in Scotland. The Emirates in Glasgow.
Or the lack of them.
Or lack of them, yeah. I mean, Emirates is a brilliant facility. Indoor, world class, had world championships there. But outdoor-wise, we've no legacy from the Commonwealth Games.
Yeah.
It's just a shame. It's great having it here, but there's no legacy. We don't have a new stadium. It doesn't have to be a big stadium. The facilities are not great. So Ben, we're looking at potentially scholarships in the US.
In the States.
Yeah, but he's at that age, 16, he can't speak to you.
I remember it well.
Hard age.
But it's a tough environment, athletics. It's the fact that he's making his way there. You must be really proud of that.
Oh, I'm very, very, very proud of him. Of course I am, yeah, absolutely. And he's found a real focus on it, takes it very seriously. And yeah, we'll see what happens. He trains hard, never misses training, etc. So it's a hard sport as well. All sports are hard. But it's a very individual sport as well.
Yeah. But you were a good runner yourself, were you, back in the day?
Long time ago now. Dundee champion, I think it was East of Scotland or something champion, but yeah. So I don't know. I think his mum was a runner as well, so.
Never knew
but
that.
He's taking it to a whole new level.
Never knew that.
And he's only been doing it for 2 years.
Well, we'll keep an eye on young Ben, what happens in the future. And yourself as well, Stephen. It'll be interesting to see what happens in the years to come, but you're very much looking forward after everything that's happened at United, your business ventures, your health scares. You're very much looking forward.
Absolutely, you can't go back. You can't, so obviously. So, yeah, looking forward. Got my energy back again. Time to reflect on life. TI was a complete reset in my life, and people might be scared off because you've had a health scare, but it shouldn't be, because you do a reset, don't you? But looking forward, yeah, don't want to look back. I still think got years ahead of me, and yeah, I want to do something exciting, and I'm happy to be in the background and help people. Like I'm helping the Harriers out of athletics in the background. Don't want to be in the front of anything anymore. I'm happy to help people, and I think I've got something to offer.
Yeah. Stephen, thanks very much for your time. It's been great speaking to you.
Good to speak to you.
Thanks for joining us.